My wife went out for drinks with the girls. At 2 a.m., a cab receipt came through our email, a drop-off address that wasn't home. The next morning, I asked, "Did you have fun?" She nodded, clueless. Then I slid the receipt across the table. Her face turned pale as I said, "Because I know exactly where you went. I, 38 male, need to tell you all something that's been eating at me. Maybe someone out there has been through something similar. Maybe I just need to get it off my chest. My wife, Rachel, 35 female, and I have been married for 11 years. We live in Denver, Colorado. We've had our ups and downs like anyone else, but I thought we were solid. We bought a house together, we had a dog, and we split holidays with both families. The usual married life. I work in IT for a local firm, and she works in human resources for a marketing company downtown. It started last Friday. Rachel said she was going out for drinks with some of the girls from her office. They'd been planning it for a couple of weeks. I didn't think much of it. I trusted her. I always have. She kissed me goodbye, said she wouldn't be too late, and left around 7 p.m. Around 10 p.m., I texted her to check in. Everything good? No reply. 11:30 p.m. All good. You okay? No reply. Midnight came and went. I was lying on the couch watching the ceiling, not even the TV anymore. Still no response. I didn't panic, but something didn't feel right. She normally texts. Even if it's just still out. All good. Then around 2:17 a.m., I get an email. Not from her. From our shared Uber account. She forgot she used it on our joint email. Subject: Your Uber trip with James is complete. I click it. Pick up, bar downtown. Okay, checks out. Drop off. An address on East Colfax. Not our home. I knew that address. Not personally, but enough to know it was a studio apartment building. I searched it. Complex of small units. Monthly rentals. Kinda shady part of town. Not completely unsafe, but definitely not somewhere you just drop by at 2 a.m. unless you have a reason. I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table with that email open, staring at it, just trying to breathe. The quiet of the house was deafening. Our dog, Max, came over a few times like he knew something was wrong. She got home around 9 a.m. Hair messy, no makeup, heels in her hand. She had her coat on, but her dress underneath was wrinkled. I just watched her come in. She didn't say anything at first. Then she said, "Morning, babe," and gave me this tired smile, like she was hungover but fine. I didn't answer. She walked into the kitchen and started making coffee, acting like nothing happened. I waited. Then I asked, "Did you have fun last night?" She turned around, smiled again, and nodded. "Yeah, it was nice to catch up with the girls." That was it. No details, no mention of how late it went. Just that. I reached behind me and slid the printed Uber receipt across the table. She looked down, stared. Silence. Her smile dropped like it was ripped off her face. I said, "Because I know exactly where you went." She didn't say anything, just stared at the paper. I watched the color drain out of her face. She looked like someone had pulled the plug on her soul. Her hands were shaking. She couldn't even reach for the receipt. I stood up. I asked again, calmly this time, "Where did you go, Rachel?" She said nothing. Not right away. Then, in this tiny voice, she said, "I can explain." My heart was pounding, but I stayed quiet. I let her talk. I was going to come home. I was. But I ran into someone I used to know. From before. I asked, "Who?" She wouldn't answer. I said, "You either tell me, or I find out myself." She swallowed hard. Then finally said a name. "Eric." I don't know an Eric. I've never heard of an Eric. Apparently, Eric is someone she dated briefly before me. She bumped into him by accident at the bar. According to her, they talked, and one thing led to another. She went back to his place because they needed to talk somewhere quiet. That's all she said. We talked. At 2 a.m. In a guy's apartment. Who she dated. Who she hasn't mentioned in 11 years. Right. I asked, "Did anything happen?" She said no, without making eye contact. I asked again, "Did anything happen?" Silence. I told her, "If you lie to me again, I'll know. And I'm done." She started crying. Big, quiet sobs. She said, "I didn't mean to. I don't know why I went. I wasn't thinking straight." Still not a real answer. I said, "So you slept with him?" More silence. Then finally, a nod. That nod broke everything. After that morning, after her confession, I left the house. Took just my phone, my wallet, a change of clothes, and Max, our dog. I couldn't stay. I didn't say anything else to her. I got in the car and drove with no plan, just needed space to breathe. Ended up in a cheap hotel out in Aurora. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, my dog snoring on the floor. My brain wouldn't shut off. Her words kept repeating in my head. It was just a mistake. I didn't mean to. We talked. I couldn't stop thinking. How do you accidentally fall into someone's bed? That night, around 10 p.m., I opened our phone bill. It's under my name, and I remembered something. When we first started dating, she told me not to snoop. That trust was everything. Well, look how that turned out. So I looked. There were texts to a number I didn't recognize. Dozens over the last few weeks. Random times, early morning, late at night, during work hours. Not just once or twice. Constant. The number wasn't saved. I copied it and threw it into Google. Bingo. Came up on a people search site. Eric R. Age 37, lives in Denver, about 6 miles from us. Same name. Same location. Same age she said he was. She didn't just bump into him. This had been going on. She knew. She planned it. My hands were shaking. I wanted to scream, but Max just looked up at me with those big dumb eyes like, "You okay, man?" I patted his head, then sat there and stared at my phone. I dialed the number. 1 ring. 2. Then voicemail. Male voice. Calm. "Hey, it's Eric. You know what to do." I didn't leave a message. I hung up, then did something I never thought I'd do. I opened her laptop. I still had it with me from the house, just grabbed it in a rush. She never logged out of anything. I opened her email, and there it was. Email subject. "I miss you already." Sent. For days before the girls' night. It was from Eric. Full name. Same guy. The body of the email? I'll never forget it. "Friday can't come soon enough. I keep thinking about your laugh, the way you looked at night at that dumb happy hour. I don't care what you decide after this weekend. I just want one more night with you. I'll wait at the same place. You know where." So this wasn't an accident. This wasn't one drink turned into oops. This was an affair, and it had been happening for at least a month. I couldn't sit still. I needed answers. I texted her. "You've been talking to him for weeks. I know everything." I saw the emails. She didn't reply for hours. Then finally, "Please come home." I didn't mean for it to get this far. I thought it was over. Over? What does that even mean? I replied, "Tell me everything, or I'm done." Then the phone rang. She was crying on the other end, swearing she never meant to hurt me, that she ran into him randomly at a bar weeks ago, and it brought back old feelings, that she didn't know what to do, that she was confused. She said the affair had only happened twice, once 3 weeks ago, then again on Friday. She swore that was it, but I didn't believe her. Why would I? Then the twist hit me, and it hit hard. While she was talking, I got a message from a friend of mine, Jake. He and his wife go to the same gym as Rachel. He said, "Dude, I don't know if this means anything, but Rachel's been going to the gym almost every night the last few weeks. Like after work. For hours. Except here's the thing. She never mentioned the gym. Not once. She told me she was working late, or doing meal prep with coworkers, or some dumb excuse about team events. I called the gym, spoke to the front desk. I said I was her husband and just needed to confirm something. The guy looked her up and said, "Yeah, she checks in around 6 p.m. like clockwork. Pretty regular." Then I asked, "Does she come alone?" He hesitated, then said, I mean usually, but sometimes with a guy. I don't know his name. Tall, brown hair. Looks like a regular too." I thanked him and hung up. My chest hurt. So this wasn't just twice. This was a whole other life she had built, right under my nose. A routine, a schedule, even a shared workout buddy who wasn't me. I haven't confronted her with that yet. That's where I'm at now. Sitting in this hotel with Max, trying to figure out what the hell my life has become. I feel stupid, like I missed every sign, like I trusted someone who was living a double life for weeks, maybe longer. The worst part? I still miss her. I still think about her laugh, how we used to fall asleep holding hands, how she would leave little notes in my lunch before work. I keep asking myself, was any of that ever real? I don't know what to do next. I don't know if I want to know more, or if knowing more will break me completely. Let me know if I should post part 4, because it's about to get worse. Much worse. So yeah, I thought it couldn't get worse. I was wrong. You ever feel like you're in a movie where each scene just finds a new way to punch you in the gut? That's my life now. After I found out about the gym thing, I didn't confront Rachel right away. I needed more than just my word versus hers. I needed proof. So I did something I swore I'd never do in a relationship. I went through her texts. See, Rachel always told me she didn't like passwords on her phone, said it made her feel trapped, so she never used one. I had her phone in the drawer she kept in the kitchen, and I just opened it. I told myself it was already broken. The trust, our bond, everything. Her messages with Eric were bad, sure. But what wrecked me more were her texts with her best friend, Sophie. Sophie and Rachel have been close since college. I've known Sophie almost as long as I've known Rachel. She's been to every birthday, every Thanksgiving, every camping trip. I considered her family. She was at our wedding, gave a speech. She knew everything. There were messages going back over 3 months. 3 months. Sophie, did he suspect anything last night? Rachel, nah. I told him I was with you guys. He bought it like always. Sophie, you've got to be careful. You're getting sloppy with times. Rachel, I know. I'll say the gym ran late again. Sophie, you still planning to tell him after the holidays? Rachel, I'm not sure. I can't picture life without Eric anymore. That one hit me the hardest. Because it wasn't just sex. She was in love with him. And she was planning on leaving me after the holidays. I guess she wanted the gifts, the family dinners, the fake smiles, then drop the bomb and start fresh in the new year. She was going to lie her way through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, maybe even open a gift from me before telling me she'd been screwing someone else for months. And her best friend was in on it. I scrolled up, sick to my stomach. The texts went even deeper. Sophie was coaching her, giving her tips on how to lie better, how to keep both lives in balance. And then, I found something else. A message about a baby shower. This part gets messy. So, Sophie's sister was pregnant and had a baby shower a few weeks back. I didn't go. It was a no-guys event. Rachel went. She stayed overnight at Sophie's because it was a bit out of town. I never questioned it. Until I read this. Rachel to Sophie, can't believe we pulled it off. He bought the baby shower story no problem. Sophie, told you it'd work. Nobody questions a baby shower. Rachel, Eric picked me up around the block. Whole night with him. No guilt. No guilt. She even attached a selfie of her and Eric in a hotel room. Both smiling. Like high schoolers skipping class. I sat there, staring at the screen, phone in one hand, my heart in the other. She was with him that whole night. She lied to my face, kissed me goodbye, and told me to have a good night, while she packed a bag and slept with another man. I thought about every time she said, I love you since then. Every time she held my hand. Every time she laughed at one of my stupid jokes. It all felt fake now. But the part that really twisted the knife? Eric wasn't some random from her past. I kept digging. Went back to the email thread from before. Opened some of the older ones she had archived. And I saw a name in one of them. Tell your husband hi from college. My stomach dropped. I clicked the sender's info. Eric R. had gone to the same college as us. Same graduating year. Same dorm building. I dug through old Facebook photos, class photos, anything I could find. And there he was, in the background of our engagement party photo, laughing with some friends. He was there the whole time, hiding in plain sight. So this wasn't an old fling. This was someone who had been orbiting our life for over a decade. I felt like I'd been living in a house with secret doors. Whole pieces of my life had shadows I never noticed. And now, they were all opening at once. That brings me to now. I haven't talked to Rachel since I left. She keeps texting. Keeps saying she wants to talk in person. That we can fix this. That she made a mistake, and she's ready to come clean. But I don't think she gets it. This wasn't one bad choice. This was a series of lies. A full-blown second life she kept going for months with the help of someone I trusted like a sister. I don't even know what's real anymore. I'm working with a lawyer now. Not filing yet, but gathering everything. I've printed the texts, screenshotted the emails, saved the phone logs. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to be ready. So here it is. The part one didn't think I'd write. The confrontation. The fallout. The part where everything that was bottled up finally exploded. It happened 3 nights ago. I hadn't responded to Rachel's messages. I hadn't returned her calls. I told her I needed space, and I meant it. But then Sophie texted me. Yes, Sophie. The one who helped her lie. The one I considered like a sister. Her message was short. I need to talk to you. Alone. Please. I didn't sign up for all of this. At first, I ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me. I agreed to meet her the next day at a coffee shop on Colfax. Neutral ground. Public place. Sophie looked tired. Not her usual put-together self. No makeup. Hair in a messy bun. She was fidgeting like she didn't even want to be there. First thing she said was, "I didn't think it would go this far." She wasn't crying, but her voice cracked. She told me she had helped Rachel cover things in the beginning because she thought it was a harmless fling. She thought Rachel just needed a break from the routine, whatever the hell that means. But she never expected Rachel to fall in love with Eric. And then Sophie said something that turned my stomach upside down. She was planning to leave you before Christmas. She even talked about moving in with him. But she wasn't going to tell you until after her bonus hit from work. I blinked. Her bonus? Sophie nodded. Yeah. She didn't want to leave until she had money for a down payment. On a new place. With him. So, to sum that up, she was going to lie to me for another 2 months, let me buy her gifts, cook her Thanksgiving dinner, maybe even sleep with me, just to keep up appearances. And then she'd take the bonus check from the company and start her new life with him. I couldn't sit still. I left the cafe without saying a word. That night, I went home. Yes, I know. Probably dumb. But I couldn't take the silence anymore. I needed to confront her. Face to face. She was in the kitchen when I walked in, wearing one of my old sweatshirts, cooking pasta like it was just another Tuesday. She looked surprised, then relieved. "Thank God," she said, rushing over. "You're here. I've been so worried." I didn't say anything. I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots, the texts, the hotel selfie, the email about the baby shower, the message from Sophie, everything. Then I just asked, "How long were you going to keep lying to me?" She froze. I asked again, louder this time. She broke, started crying, hard, sat down at the kitchen table, and just sobbed into her hands. For once, no excuses, no clever stories, just tears. "I didn't mean to fall for him," she said. "It just happened, and then I didn't know how to stop." I asked, "So the plan was to play happy wife until you got your bonus, then leave me?" She didn't answer. I asked again. She whispered, "Yes." I laughed. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because that kind of pain has nowhere else to go. Then the yelling started. Her crying turned to shouting. "You don't understand. You've been distant for months. You're always working. You're always tired." I snapped back. "So cheating is your solution?" It got ugly. We threw every hurtful word we could find at each other. Years of built-up resentment poured out in a storm neither of us could stop. Max, our dog, ran and hid under the couch. She said she felt like she didn't exist to me anymore. I said I felt like I'd been living with a stranger. Then she said it. Eric made me feel alive again. That one hurt. Like physical pain. I felt it in my chest. I said, "Well, he can have you. Because I'm done." And I walked out. She's staying at her sister's now. I filed for divorce the next morning. The lawyer already had the paperwork ready. I didn't even hesitate. Her parents called me. Said they were sorry. Said they never raised her to be like this. Sophie texted me again too. She said she was cutting Rachel off. Said it wasn't worth the lies. I don't know if I believe her, but whatever. I'm staying at my buddy Jake's for now. He cleared out his guest room. Max seems happier here. I've gone completely silent with Rachel. No calls. No replies. I told her if she needs to talk, go through my lawyer. She's tried sending long texts, talking about guilt, and maybe we can rebuild someday. I delete them without reading. I think the part that haunts me the most isn't just the cheating. It's how she could look me in the eye and still lie. How she let me plan our anniversary while texting another man. How she smiled at me with the same mouth that whispered, "I love you," to someone else hours earlier. But also, I see it now, the little signs I ignored. The emotional distance. The fake laughs. The way she avoided eye contact when she said she was just tired. I wasn't perfect either. I worked too much. I got lazy with our connection. But I never gave up on her. She gave up on me. What did I learn? That some people can love you and still betray you. That love alone isn't enough. That trust, once shattered, can never be the same. I don't know what's next. I'm not hopeful. I'm not bitter. I'm just empty. But maybe that's the start of something new. The end of this story isn't happy. But at least it's real.